rough, like with I feel like it's got a very boom bap beat, but then you've also got the chords and a really soft melody too.
Mm-hmm.
All while he's talking about like the eyes of, well, I'm sorry, he's speaking through this perspective of being a crack dealer. That's fucking crazy. Who thinks of us making a song like that feels so musical in a way, you know?
It's also a perspective we don't usually get to hear. Like there's also like, just to be specific, there's like a whole stigma like behind like crackheads. But like
Hmm.
for Tyler to take that and like humanize it and be like, yo, like I'm still a person too, it's like
Yeah.
very cool. Like I feel like a lot of music doesn't do that. Like speaking from perspectives that we don't really get to hear from. It's like hearing the other side of the story almost.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think ultimately that music like that is probably the most important kind because it's what paves the way for other kinds of music like that to be more widely accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like if we didn't have artists like Tyler doing all the shock value stuff he was before,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that. Well, okay, no, I think that's too big of a statement to make. I was gonna say like, oh, maybe the whole landscape of music would have been different. And I guess like to a degree, you could say something like that. But I just feel like it was so important to music history because he, as a product of the internet, basically showed
Mm-hmm.
so many other people you can get popping off the internet too, and you can travel the world, you can change your life like that. And now look at him,
Where,
rapper, not even rapper, just all around musician,
mm-hmm.
businessman, just a freaking legend.
Where he's got a soundtrack with the Grinch.
Yeah, for real. Like that's how you level up as an artist. You go from making beats on your computer and idolizing Pharrell to becoming your idols. You know, scoring a whole movie.
Where
That's insane. That's such a leap.
I definitely could say you definitely see that he's definitely a different person, but you still
Hmm.
see like flashes of like, yeah, that's still Tyler. And I think I love that about him too. Cause like fame and money, like a lot of things change, but it seems like he kind of kept most of the same people around him,
Hmm.
like throughout like the most of his career.
Yeah, I think that's really cool too. The fact that even though Odd Future may not necessarily be together anymore, the
Mm-hmm.
fact that a lot of the people from the collective still work together, still do things like he and Taco. Taco was just in the promo for his new album, "Call Me When You Get Lost."
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think he's in that show Dave too, right? Have you
Yeah,
seen that show?
yeah, bro, that
Is
show
it
is funny as fuck.
really? You know, I've heard a lot about it, but I just haven't gotten to it. You know,
it it
it's
reminds
like
me kind of like, have you ever seen Atlanta? With
yeah.
it's kind of like in the same wavelength. It's kind of just like with some like little Dicky and kind of humor to it.
Okay, all right, but I like the shows like that. The shows that give you like though it may be satirized, just like something of an insight to the music industry because it's still like even though it's satire, most of that shit is still like pretty true. Like that's just how it happens. It's just not as painted through a humorous lens.
Mm-hmm. No, I
Yeah.
definitely that
Hmm.
shit is I want to say I seen that show like a couple months ago, but
Hmm.
like I definitely loved it because it's like he's basically navigating through the show trying to like come up. So like it shows like his very like condescending and egotistical sides.
Hmm.
It shows like him like burning bridges and relationships trying to like get to where he wants, him like firing his manager because he doesn't like he's not doing what and then at the end of the show he kind of realizes like it's himself that's like
Hmm.
causing a lot of these issues.
Interesting.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's
Pretty
very
cool.
introspective, and I feel like since Little Dicky is well, also a rapper. I, w-
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much of it is like semi autobiographical too. You know?
Probably a lot of it. I think he was probably very like conscious of that when writing the show.
Hmm.
It's not like I wouldn't say it's spot on to like his actual true story, but it definitely like does mirror it in a way. Because
Yeah.
I think I forgot what his story was, but I'm pretty sure he like for one of his music videos,
Hmm.
he was just going to like a rich neighborhood in Cali, and he was just asking people, "Hey, can I shoot a video in your mansion?"
Yeah. It was Save That Money. I think it
Yeah.
was with Fetty Wap
Mm-hmm.
and there's one other person. I think it wasn't Rich the Kid. Was it Rich Homie Quan?
Something like that. I don't know why
Yeah.
in my head I feel like it was Future, but I know it wasn't Future.
Hold on. A Little Dicky and a Future track, like I don't know. I feel like that would be a pretty cool combination. Like
I
those
feel
are
like
two.
work with anybody. Young
Yeah,
Thug
for
too.
real. Yeah, no, Young Thug and Future are so just like they're just especially versatile,
Mm-hmm.
and because Lil Dicky can fucking rap too. It's not like he's just a guy who makes jokes and also raps. Like he's got some fucking bars.
Word.
Like I remember what was it, the Double XL freshman 2016 cipher?
Yeah.
No, he was in 2016, right?
I don't remember, but it was definitely one of those years. He definitely smoked to that freestyle. Like I know which one.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Like it was him, designer, Anderson Pack. I think it might have just been the three of them actually, because I know
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll do three, other times they'll do four. But he killed it. Like I don't think Anderson Paak is a great musician, and especially now, like at all everything since then, his projects like Oxnard, Silk Sonic. If they're ever gonna drop that album, I
I
wouldn't be
hope
surprised. Man,
that song is beautiful.
Bruno already makes beautiful music, and Anderson does as well. So the fact that they were just like, "Yo, let's make a whole album together,"
That's like a perfect collaboration. I've never thought.
for
Like
real.
you would think, like yeah, Bruno Mars and Anderson Paak would make great music together, but for whatever reason, it's just like I've never thought about that.
Yeah, no, 100%. Because like I feel like they're kind of similar in the way that, well, let me rephrase that. The music that they make in terms of like the arrangements and how they compose it, I feel like is pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that I feel like is different between the two of them are probably just their voices. I feel like subject matter is kind of similar most of the time, and their
It's very,
musical ability. I'm sorry, go
it's
ahead.
very groovy. It's like
Yeah.
very like grand music. Like it's like a lot going on. Like you can tell like they're in there with like real composers like
Mhm.
crafting these songs as opposed to just like the way like a rapper would approach a song. I feel like Anderson Paak is like a lot more than a rapper, which
Oh,
is probably why
100%.
he's able to work with like Bruno Mars like so well.
Yeah. It's like I love what they're doing too, how they're kind of just like revitalizing or reviving soul music almost. Because
Mm-hmm.
the track is very soul heavy. I was listening to this other podcast. What it's called, I don't even remember. It's not even me trying to like purposely not shout them out. I just don't remember what the fuck it was called. But it was like one of those music podcasts where they like dissect music to like a theoretic level as well, and they're talking about like time signatures, the different styles of music, and like what makes them all different. And they went through soul history to find like the different like regional soul styles,
Mm-hmm.
and they basically found that Silk Sonic, at least in this song, Leave the Door Open, was like a huge homage to Philly soul, which is the kind of soul that would have like big orchestras, or like Soul Train is a really good example of a show that really had a lot of Philly soul on it.
Do you think they did that purposely or do you think it was just kind of like their influences like on their sleeves like it just naturally happened kind of like that?
I think it's both. Because there's definitely like little musical moments that sound like similarly enough that you could be like, oh, okay, yeah, they probably did this as like, as like a little interpolation. There we go. That's the word that I'm looking for. Because
Oh,
it's not sampling, it's interpolating. But like
yeah.
little stuff like that. And then, as versatile as music is, I feel like there's only 88 keys on a piano. You can only
Word.
make but so many different structures without it not making sense. Because you can't just put, I mean, yeah, okay. Technically, yes, you can put any set of notes together. It doesn't mean it's
It
going to
won't
sound good,
though.
though. Yeah, my point exactly. So, yeah, I think it was a little bit of both. But regardless of the fact, it's a great piece of music, and I'd be remiss to say otherwise.
I definitely think they'll probably drop that project sooner or later. I feel like it'd be like a shame for them not to because like the way the fans reacted when they dropped that song, it was kind of like there was a heavy demand for that. So I feel like it's like why not like get together, make that album, see what you guys can cook up.
Oh yeah, 100%. I feel like it's the strength those two have, with Bruno already being like a huge like billboard, or rather like just a charts dominator anytime he puts something out,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that that song was received, they put an album out this summer. They could easily take over the whole summer and probably the rest of the fucking year, because
Word.
that song came out in what, like March,
Yeah.
and look where we are 3 months later, and I don't know if
So
it's like exactly.
literally I was in the car yesterday and they're like I heard it on some mix and they're like already like doing this and that to the song. So
Yeah, for real. I went out yesterday too. I mean, it was like a it was like a bar dance club. So honestly, that's probably not the place to expect to hear that song. So that was just a shitty example. Never mind.
I mean,
But
you're
I have
right.
heard it on the radio. I have heard it on the radio as well. Yeah, no, that song just has staying power,
Mhm.
and I'm sure to a degree it's definitely like who your label is and how much money they're putting into you and your history as an artist. But you just make good fucking music, man.
I hope stuff like that would not get in the way of like this album because that'd be like a shame.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think. I mean, I personally don't know too much about like the intricacies of like label contracts and how a contract with one place could prevent you from doing business with somebody else. I'm just
Mhm.
not like really well versed in that, but I do know that that kind of stuff exists. Like I could just imagine comparing something like that to like for me, what's easy to compare to is like the Marvel universe. How Marvel
Mhm.
like couldn't use certain characters because they didn't have the rights or this, that, and the third. So like they couldn't even say the word mutant in the MCU movies because Fox had the rights to X Men and all that
That's
jumbo.
ter-
Yeah, like
that's terrible. I didn't
yeah,
know
for
that
real. Like not being able to say one word and then like if you do mess up and say that one word, you get a whole fucking lawsuit.
word.
Yeah, that shit is
Like
insane.
on the word mutant.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they like people can do stuff like that is like crazy. I feel
Yeah.
like I don't know. We're in a weird space where it's like we're like very artistic, like as a humanity, but like at the same time, structure of like government and like capitalism holds us back from like true expression. Because like there's rules to it, and I feel like there really shouldn't be rules to expression like the way there is.
Oh, no, 100%. I think that creativity unbound and just making something and it being in its most pure form, you not allowing yourself to hold anything back, I think it's absolutely beautiful. It may not always be the product that we want it to be, but if it's something that you can continue to build upon and refine,
Mm-hmm.
I think the possibilities are absolutely endless, be it music, a painting, or any piece of art, honestly, because the term itself is just so wide ranging.
We're even podcasting too. Like
Excuse
it's an
me.
art form in itself.
Yeah, I feel like podcasting, especially, is just so versatile. I think that if for somebody like me who really appreciates music but has never really seen themselves or like had the musical know-how to like go ahead and make music, I
Mm-hmm.
think that podcasting is a nice way to get into just the audio space in general because people like to hear people talk.
Mm-hmm.
Conversations are, especially really invigorating conversations, are just nice to sit and listen to. And what's great is that you can have a podcast about anything because there's a niche community. Like, I know you watch anime, and I asked you about Jujutsu Kaisen earlier, but do you watch Attack on Titan or read Attack on Titan at all?
Uh, I've definitely seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type of person I watch a bunch of anime, so I definitely start a bunch of shit and don't finish it.
I feel you.
I'm definitely probably like most of the way through season one of Attack on Titan, and then I
Oh
just kind of
wow.
watching something else. But I definitely know it's a fire show.
Yeah, no, it's that shit is crazy. It's one of the best anime I've ever seen. The manga was really cool too. A lot of people didn't like the ending, but I mean, hey, everyone's a critic, you know. But I was asking because I listened to a podcast that reviewed the manga month by month as it would come out,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought that being able to look up an Attack on Titan podcast on Spotify and there be like tens of, if not hundreds of results was crazy because I would never even thought there was a fucking market for that kind of thing. But through the beauty of the internet and podcasting, that's something that you can tap into.
Mm-hmm. The internet is like there's like a niche for everything. I feel like there's probably a niche for food rapping. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I feel like the internet allows you to like monetize like your very specific interests, like whether it be like music or just like anime or trading cards. Like there's a space for
Mm-hmm.
everything because it allows people to be connected. And you might be the only person in your town that's like into something like that,
Mm-hmm.
but there's billions of people out there. So like there's definitely other people who are into the stuff you are. And then the internet also allows you to build upon that. So it's like you might discover a niche that you didn't even know you were into, really.
Mm-hmm.
My fault. This light is like automatic. It goes
Oh, you're
out like
good.
minutes.
Don't
But
worry.
I don't know. I feel like the internet is like a beautiful thing. but like